All right, everybody, MCACN 2022, back here at one of my favorite parts of the show, which everybody knows, the barn find section, where I can't stop digging in barns, and neither can you.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we'd like to introduce Ryan, and you own?
I'm the auto archaeologist. I drive around looking for rusty junk.
See, there's more than one of me out there, everybody, and that's what I tell you. And we're here to prove it today.
Indeed.
And he's got a great fan base following, and I've been following you for a long time. And
I'm sorry. I mean, thank you.
yeah, I know. I get it all the time. I mean, not that close, but yeah, we're getting to know each other better. So let's take a look at some of this awesome stuff you have here.
Yeah, this is the MCACN 2022 Barn Finds and Hidden Gems display. This is actually the 10-year anniversary of the first actual section. We had one test car before that, but this is the 10th anniversary for this section at the show. So it's a really special setup. And it's packed. I mean, even now, it's Sunday November 20th at afternoon, and it's packed. And we're going to try to walk through the crowd and get some good stuff for you. Like right here, there are these guys who are literally foaming at the mouth, looking at you think, oh, okay, it's a 69 Nova. It was literally just pulled out of a garage within the last month. It's not just any Nova. It's one of the handful of the remaining Yenko Supernovas from Yenko, Don Yenko in Pennsylvania. So it had recently switched hands, and the guy's first thought was, we got to bring it to Barn Finds at MCACN, and from here it's going to be fully restored back to as sold from Yenko. Probably we'll see it here as an unveiling in about 2 years.
Now, one of the biggest things I always got a question, because we were always asked to bring cars to MCACN to your barn finds, because ever since I saw this display, I'm like, this is something I can do.
Yep.
Because I don't like cleaning my stuff. Ryan, one of our lead detailers and everything, he cleans out all the coon crap and whatever. But I've already seen cars here that looked like everything was still in the car, right out of the barn. Like these guys leave everything in it.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we prefer. We prefer them as found.
Like, don't even clean them up. Don't wash the windows. Don't do anything.
I think one of them even has raccoon poop still in the car.
All of our Wisconsin followers, they know about raccoon poop because Ryan does it all the time. We just power wash a 68 Charger with full of it. So.
Oh yeah. I think it was either the Hemi Cuda. No, the Hemi Cuda was a pack rat.
Okay.
And then I think it was the Hemi Challenger that we'll hit up here in a second. That had raccoon poop on the cowl.
That is beautiful.
But it doesn't anymore. But we've had mice come out of vehicles when we're moving them here. We've had
any other complaints from the high-end show car guys if that stuff's
coming in? They don't get it. But obviously it's packed, so people get it.
Well, this is how they find them. And
indeed.
This is a great opportunity to show people, as we'll walk through here, the cars are still out there. They are everywhere. I mean, you find them in garages, you find them in barns, you find them in storage units, and it's not just the crap cars. The holy grails are out there. They're still there to this day in 2022.
I mean, I personally was associated with 5 or 6 of the cars that are in here. Like, I personally either dug them out of barns or was involved with them as barn finds.
That's why I think one of the biggest reasons why I follow you is because you do exactly what I do. You go in the cold, you go in the heat, do whatever. If you get the lead, and I tell everybody that follows our pages, do whatever, you get the lead, you go now. I mean, you go now as soon as you get one picture of a quarter panel, you can do whatever. It may not be true. Some people think it's fake. Then the next day they see me on Facebook and they're like, how did you do it?
Yeah.
Because we leave, we go. We put the kids in the truck and we go.
I do that on occasion, but like this, the Hemi Cuda will do and the Challenger, they came from the same barn. But the guy told me on Monday, we're digging these cars out of this barn in Arkansas, and that's a 14-hour drive, and 3 days later I was driving 14 hours to Arkansas. But a lot of them I plan accordingly, and I have a map that I take all my leads, all my stories, I plot it on this map, so I can hit up tons of cool barn finds in a very short period of time when I travel.
And this, again, that's what I was asking before. Now this has become your main base. This is what you do full time now.
It is. I sell the stories to different magazines, and I have a YouTube channel that I've been promoting very heavily.
Yes.
And I have, like you said, my social media is pretty good. So
yeah,
it's a lot of little garden hose filling up the bucket.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do it.
Oops, sorry.
Well, show us what you got. Where are we at?
Well, here at MCACN, the barn find display is sponsored by Miller Auto Care. They're a stock restoration and resto mod place. And these two, what they do is they'll bring a barn find here or two, and then in like a year or two, they bring it back as an unveiling
As a full restoration.
As a full restoration in their main display up in the front. So like right now, I forget, I think it's a 442 that they did, and it's 2 years ago or 3 years ago because of COVID, and now it's unveiled as of yesterday up in their booth. But here is a 1970 Olds W31, and most people don't know what a W31 is because they know the 442.
Everybody always says W30.
W30.
Yep.
This is the hot rod small block Oldsmobile. It had a unique Oldsmobile 350 engine, which was a Pontiac, or I'm sorry, an Oldsmobile 350.
And Ryan, if you look here, everybody looks here, somebody actually took some old empty valve covers and put the W31 on the valve covers as an old hot rod, all the old stuff we used to do. And one of the rare things you actually see, it's actually got the Olds intake on it also too. So it's, I mean, this thing is just, and it's a 4-speed car also.
And it's a rare color combo, and so it's a really cool car. It's going to be fully restored back to factory stock, then unveiled here probably in about 2 years.
Okay.
And this is actually a first for them. I mean, I know they do other cars, but for the barn find display, you don't see them very often. This is a 72 Pontiac Grand Prix SSJ, which is the highest option packet, I believe, in the Grand Prix. And I think it's a Hearst Olds edition with the black and gold paint. And it's a sunroof car, which makes it even rarer. And it's really nice. It's got air conditioning, you know, power steering, power disc brakes.
On this one. Really good
yada,
options.
yada, yada. And then that sunroof.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that. And then this Mustang here is very close to me because in 2018, a young woman messaged me and she's like, hey, do you want to come see my Boss 351 that I have in the barn? And I'm like, I guess if I have to.
Yeah, twist my arm, right?
So I released the video a little bit ago, but this is a legitimate Boss 351 Mustang, real low miles, and that's the owner right there. But it was legitimately on a tractor, like a tractor trailer, not a tractor, it was a trailer, like a
hay wagon trailer?
Yeah, like just a farm trailer.
Yep.
It was sitting on there for close to 40 years. And there was so much raccoon poop and garbage in the hood was off of it. And if you see my video, it was literally, there was a tarp over the engine trying to protect it, but it was full of raccoon poop and leaves.
So you cleaned this one up a little bit to get in the show.
The gentleman did. So the young woman, she sold it shortly after I had seen it to this gentleman. He's going to put it together, leave it original patina, and get it running and driving, which is going to be so killer because this car is a true survivor.
I love the survivors. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all love a full restoration car, but when they have a survivor that they get running and driving, brakes, exhaust, you know, everything, all that stuff, it's just so great.
Absolutely.
What a muscle car is all about.
Absolutely.
This year is one of my favorites. This year also.
Yeah, this is a really neat car. Found in a small little garage. It is a really, really neat 1970 446 pack 4-speed Cuda shaker car. And it's super clean.
It looks very clean compared to some of the rusty barn finds that we find.
Absolutely.
And it was weird because it's actually said it Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota.
Yeah, it was in Minnesota, but it seemed like it was. I wasn't
preserved
associated
very
with,
well.
But here you can see the common Mopar. I think it's that's not the voltage regulator. Is it the voltage regulator? That's the voltage regulator melting on the firewall.
Yep, that's the other one. Yeah, Mopar was famous for that, and you can see all the oil. They're still, coming right out of it. They never cleaned any of it out.
That wax on the back that melts.
Yep, and wax on the back. Yep.
Yep, and this is cool. This is a revitalized, brought back. It's a Hearst Olds 68. First year of the Hearst Olds. The guy left it basically all original paint, but he mechanically restored it so he could take it racing.
Okay.
And
so we've got, so I see he restored everything on here also. So now this one is a runner driver.
Yeah, running, driving, and it even, like I said, he runs pure stock or pure stock muscle cars and drag. So you'll see this.
Yeah. Actually, we got a picture of him down here doing burnouts in the car right here.
Yeah. So that's really neat. It was really nice not to have to push that car. Because a lot of these cars, we have to push them into their spots.
Yeah.
And then we have a F6 green A12 Super B that is really nice. I mean, it's not nice, it's rusty, but It's just a cool car. And barn fresh, I mean, not barn fresh, like, it's together, but it's pretty crusty. I mean, it's
But
definitely not
everything's here,
restored.
and as we know with all the, well, with any muscle car that we restore, one thing that we always look for is all the parts were here when we get the car.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
which is very hard to find after, like you say, 40 years, 30 years in a barn.
Absolutely.
Making sure that nobody robbed it or popped the emblem or do whatever, it's very hard to find that.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
especially being such a year. This is a half-year only road run, or a Super B.
Yep.
It's they call it an A12, which is the option pack over the 6-pack engine, 69 and a half, because it was only available for the later half of 1969. So it's really a rare car with a cool combination, and it's complete from top to back. I mean, front to back,
That
which
is-
is really, really nice. We had one here last year that was nothing but a shell.
Nothing but a shell.
Nothing but a shell.
And you can see, what I always like seeing is what rims were on them back then.
Well,
you know, we've
these-
seen a couple Keystones. I see the aluminum slots in here with the big M50s out the back.
Yeah.
The height of the muscle car era. You know, that's the great part about
Absolutely, and I love aluminum slots. They're great rims.
it. Oh yeah.
And then this is a really oddball one. It's a 1969 Barracuda convertible 340 car, but it's not just any 340 car or any Barracuda. It is a pilot car, one of the very first ones that were produced. When they were producing that line for that year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very low VIN number, and even if you look over here, for some reason Chrysler welded a VIN tag to the original block.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
No,
Because everybody knows that the tags are on the side.
No,
or
no,
on the back.
on Mopars they're here.
Yeah, but they welded this one on
Yeah,
there
they
though.
welded it on.
Right.
They have the casting date on the side, and small blocks they are down here usually.
Okay.
But it's so weird. It's like. why
And this
weld
one, and again, a lot of people see what we dig for in barns. Most of everybody who restores it, they would just walk by this thing because of
Yeah.
how rough it was. They're like, there's no way I'm doing it.
Yeah, when you go on the other side, you'll see this. The whole side's like caved in.
Yeah, we saw this one come in. the other
And
day,
this, it runs. It
we,
runs.
we actually saw this one come off the trailer the other day, and part of my film crew was looking at it like, are you serious? I'm like,
Yeah.
some of the guys are like, this is actually a set or something? I'm like, yeah, it's great.
It runs, but it doesn't stop. We hit the brakes when we were trying to move it.
Yeah.
And literally a piece of brake line fell out of it.
Oh, well,
Rusted off and fell out.
That's
Like,
good to know you
oh!
found out here in this area. That's probably why is there a reason why you put the barn finds right here by the loading dock area so they're not all the way through the building?
Yep, that's basically it. We try to contain the hantavirus.
There you go. There you go.
With all the 1930s diseases that are here.
Oh yeah.
We try to contain them to one area.
Do we still have diseases today? No, I don't think we're good. No.
We're all vaccinated and all that. We're good.
Yeah, there we go.
And this is a 68 Chevelle SS 396 car. Big block. The guy started restoring it, and here it is.
This is, of course, is one of my favorites. I have a 68 SS big block car. I've had in my collection for over 20 years. I bought with my father back in the day.
Oh, very
and,
cool.
And garnet red, all this stuff. I mean, it's a great car. So
That's awesome.
I saw this one come in. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that.
And this beater
Yeah.
is in the way we're walking, this is the first car in a group of two in the show. This was in a barn in Arkansas, and it wasn't complete. It was a shell basically, but it's a legitimate Go Mango Hemi Challenger automatic car with a tan interior.
And what was the time frame? How long ago was this one found?
This was March.
March.
My friend Billy, he bought this and the Hemi Cuda we'll see in a little bit.
Yep.
And a bunch of other stuff. I did a video series on it. And long story short, another friend of mine, Jesse, ended up with the car.
Really?
And so he had a date-coded engine because the original engine was gone. But, they only made like a few hundred of these.
Right.
So
you one buddy buys it, the other guys had the date code engine, they put it together, and
Yep.
here we are today.
And
obviously the way it's looking, I'm assuming this one run and drives.
no, it doesn't run and drive yet. They didn't
Oh,
get
okay. It just looks like
It's
it looks
pretty
like,
close.
Looks pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, they just had some things that they needed to finish up.
Is this going to be a patina driver then?
Yep, as of right now.
That is so cool. That is just
As of
perfect
right
for this
now.
car.
But, I mean, they were going to wash it, get the mouse crap
So
off.
yeah, some of it on there. Yeah. Well, one big thing I see with a lot of patina barn finds that you are doing and we sell here at ours. Most people that'll leave them as patina drivers.
Yeah.
One thing that we pretty much all do is we clean up the interiors.
Yeah.
You got to clean up the interior. You got to be able to sit somewhere.
Exactly, and
yeah.
you don't want stuff falling from the headliners or...
Headliners are famous. We've got, like I said, Ryan's in our shop. A lot of people see him on Facebook and on all our social media networks. He's the one famous for cleaning up all that stuff and getting it in his face and whatever. But he loves it. So
That's good.
And he's smaller than us, so I sent him digging through all the little mouse holes and cracks there.
That's awesome.
Go look what's in the corner.
And then well, here in this corner, it's just one of these. It's a Superbird. One of those. I mean, I found so many of them. They all blur together. But my friend the Colchins right over there, they've been looking for a yellow Superbird for a long time, and they were able to acquire this one that had been sitting in a garage for a few decades. And their plan is right after this, it's going to a shop and it's going to be fully restored.
Over here, since we're at MCACN here, a lot of people these were the rarest of the rare. Yep. You guys make it look so easy here at MCACN over here because there's got to be 30 of them here.
Oh, more than that.
Oh, more than that, right?
Yeah.
I lost track. And I mean, they're everywhere. There's some barn finds here. There's some over there. Yeah,
it's actually really funny. In any other context, earlier we were trying to find the owner of one of the Daytonas. They only made 503 Daytonas. So we're like, all right, I need to find the owner of this Daytona. Okay, which one is it? That's the first haha, we have to find out which. It's an orange one. Okay, we have 4 orange ones. They only made 5.
And they have 4 of them here.
And we have 4 of them here. I'm like, okay, now what's the interior? Oh, they're black. Okay, 2 of them are black interior. Is it a 4-speed or an automatic? Oh, they're both are like, jeez. So it's funny. Any other context, you'd be like, oh, is it Daytona? Oh, it's the only Daytona here.
It's the only Daytona here. Nobody goes to a show anywhere in the country. And again, we always give props to you guys at this show. It is the best muscle car show in the country. I mean, there's hands down. It's just great, and it's just
we've been called the Pebble Beach of muscle cars.
Yes,
because of the quality and the quantity that we have in a confined space.
Yes, it's just amazing. I mean, you could go on.
I mean,
2.5 days here, but I mean, I could stay here for a week, obviously.
And here's a Super, and next to it is a completely rotted out, pulled from a forest farm, 69 Charger 500 that runs and drives. And we tried pushing it earlier, and we dented the trunk lid. I mean, hey guys, good seeing you.
How's it going, guys?
We undented the trunk lid. It's okay.
Yeah.
We did get tetanus though.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I didn't realize how bad that trunk lid was though. We tried just scooting it. And I'm like, oh shit.
So this one is this plan to just be a patina driver then, or are you gonna restore it? It's drivable now, but I mean, are you gonna take it all the way down, or are you just gonna leave it? You're gonna leave it? That's the coolest part about it.
I hope you're gonna patch some holes in the floor at least. That whole exhaust coming through.
Yeah.
But this thing
I'd leave it.
It's
That's
so
what we
cool.
do too. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, like I said, it's been a highlight of the show. People have been around the car all freaking weekend.
Actually,
it's so cool.
Actually, as long as we're filming this right now, I was told about this car from a friend of mine that you might know, Steve Elliott. Steve Elliott owns a Mega Toy Monster Truck. I think he told me actually not Steve Elliott, it was Rodman Hobbs, I think it was, you might know. You know Rodman, right? Rodman with the high roller. Sorry, I screwed that up because we do a lot of stuff, a lot of coverage. He messaged me when I did a quick glimpse of his car, and he goes, that's my buddy's car. So he says hi. So Rodman says hi.
That's awesome.
There we go. It's a small world.
It really is. I knew about this car for a decade, but it's like my routes never took me near it.
Really?
So it's like, yeah, and then it's funny, 4 different friends of mine were messaging me when he picked it up. Like, oh my God, the yellow 500's moving. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll see it eventually, I guess. And here it is.
This is great.
It is.
I actually love it.
It is. It is absolutely one of my favorites of the show.
And I love this. Before we move to the next one, this is great. So now, back in the day, everybody always used to put something and wrap the coil. So that's actually old crushed aluminum soda can cover. So was that on there, or did you put it back on there? You put it on there? There we go.
Well, because obviously it wasn't, they pulled it out of a farm field.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it wasn't running and driving when they got it, so they had to put it together.
You had to put it together. That's very cool, man.
It had the original engine transmission in it, but of course it wasn't running.
Yeah.
I already had this engine, so we stuck this engine transmission in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is very cool, man.
It's so
very cool piece.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you can't, I mean, if you go from Superbird, 500, 6-pack GTX, and it's like, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. It's like, I mean, Mopars are like taking over everywhere around here, it seems like.
Well, yeah, I could say something about what we do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in trouble with the Chevy or Ford people.
But
yeah, no, this is a 6-pack car. It was actually owned by a friend of mine before it. I never saw the car.
Okay.
And then the guys at Mopar 5150, Troy was able to acquire the car And this one runs and drives. I
This-
think after this, we'll probably wash it.
This
but-
one looks like it was pretty well preserved also. I mean, I don't think it's really, I don't see it all rotted out and all that stuff. I mean,
You know, it was pretty well preserved.
yeah, very nice car. And this was, you know, at 70 and 71, everybody thought this kind of fell off with the nose and all that stuff like that. But these are very cool cars.
I agree.
You know,
My first car was almost a 71 3D3 4-speed Roadrunner.
okay.
Almost.
Well,
This
this
is by
is-
1 week.
And this is kind of well, actually, the same that body style as any of the fans back in the day, like when Daisy Duke got when she got hers.
Well, she had a 72, then a 73,
That
then
was-
it went off a cliff.
Then it went off a cliff. Yep. The sad endings of Duke's Hazard.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But you know, we got Daisy Duke pants, so I mean,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I actually
it
have a pair-
keeps giving and giving.
I still have a pair of those in my showcase on my Duke's Hazard display wall that she actually signed for me. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, you have to. I mean, it's what we do, right?
Absolutely. And then
Finally,
thi-
a Ford for the Ford fans.
yeah, this is a Ford. This is a Ford Galaxy, and it's really cool. The owner of this car, this guy right here,
There he is right there.
This is the first time he's seen it in what, 20 years?
20 years. And
Yeah.
This is an old family car that my parents bought new, and we really drove it.
Really, that is amazing. That is
It's
great.
a high desert car, mainly California and West Coast. And,
Okay.
We just ran out of room in about 2000.
Okay.
And I sold it to a coworker. And he brought it back to Grand Rapids and then took it to La Crosse. And about a year ago, his widow hit me for information on the car so she could, sell it.
Okay.
Well, I bought my car back.
That is so great. That is just great.
And what's really good about this car is it's an 885,000 mile survivor.
Really, that is.
My dad was a professor at the University of California, Riverside, and he was running the family farm up in the Napa Valley.
Okay.
So he had to wear grooves on I-5 about every weekend. to
And
get
this
it
is
up
the
there.
car he did it in.
Because he was my height at about
So
6'7".
this one here, what you said was La Crosse, Wisconsin.
We found it in La Crosse,
It was
Wisconsin.
found there, yeah.
Okay.
But the guy who I sold it to actually packed it away for 6 months every year.
Okay.
And then brought it out during the summer because he was one of those rather animated guys who like to just pull up to some weird place to start a conversation. That'll do it.
That
That's how
is
I find
great.
cars.
And one of the biggest things we always saw, everybody says, you know, you go look for cars, you go down south, you go to California, you go all over the warm spot. We always go, and I will die saying this, there are more cars in Wisconsin, Minnesota, in the Midwest area there that are hidden in barns. Still to this day, and we're proving it right now today, is that I always say there's more cars left in our areas, archived in the barns, put away, because of course winter shit happens, and then we have nowhere else to put our cars. So guys, take them apart, do whatever. Most of them forget about them. I always hear that when we pick them up. I forgot about that car. I didn't even know I had a storage bill, or the storage bill gets too high. So now we have the hood open on this one.
Yeah, my father bought just a very simple car because he was kind of a poor college student working on the family farm back and forth.
Sure.
So he just wanted a 289 with a 3-speed on the column because he wanted something he could fix.
Sure.
And this car just keeps going. It outlived him.
And plus you can get the engine bay yet.
You can throw a lawn chair in here and a beer cooler, and it's, you got the room.
That's great. That's great.
Cool.
That's awesome. And it runs, I know, we had to move it.
And it runs, yeah.
It starts right up and goes.
Yeah.
That is
It's
great.
still a numbers matching car, even though everything's been overhauled on it numerous times.
That's the best part.
really
That's
cool.
the best part. Well, thanks for sharing.
No
Yeah,
problem.
appreciate
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
And this is a neat one. I came into the story on this one a little bit later, but this is a legitimate Mr. Norm's Dodge Super Bee. This was sold by Mr. Norm in 1969. It ended up in southern Illinois, and through a few things, he ended up at my friend's place in Missouri. And from there, it was on eBay, and this gentleman, Ken Fleming, bought it, and he took it out east. I think he's in North Carolina or something like that. And he got it mechanically restored. This car is perfect underneath. Engines all redone, transmission, even the interior. And the really cool thing is, for a car guy, the stickers on the side, on the back is the original Mr. Norm sticker from the dealership, and this was a dyno tuned by Mr. Norm's car, and this famous carburetor tuning place. So on the driver's side wing window, or on the back, you'll see these two stickers that are, the epitome of Chicago
Those are the
Mopar
stickers we
tuning.
don't take off.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening and following here, we actually have a Mr. Norms tribute this weekend, right?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
a Mr. Norms Invitational here at the show. I forget how many, I think 15 cars.
Yeah.
And it goes
somewhere
from
around there.
everything from darts, GSS darts, the last Mr. Norms van.
And those who really don't follow a lot of the Mopar stuff or any of the people, elaborate a little bit on Mr. Norms, the dealership.
yeah.
And tuning. What was it back in the day?
Mr.
For
Norms
people
was
that don't
the
know.
best Dodge dealership in the country for a period of time. And not only was it the best-selling dealership, they also had a high-performance part of it that he cultivated. So it's like a Yenko or a Shelby. His cars are famous for performance. Like, he had a whole line of personally made in dealership cars, like the GSS Dart, GSS Demon. He did Challengers, Chargers, everything. He got, I think it was 15 or 20 of the first Hemi darts produced. So
Every time you wanted some performance, everybody was flocking to him in the country to get their Mopar
absolutely.
hotter on the street.
I mean, anyone who was a performance guy, like if you were in the East Coast, you'd go to Yenko. Like there's pictures of Superbirds at Yenko being dyno tuned. Same thing.
That's great.
I mean, there's
So it's elaborate that it not only Dodge work, but he'd get a Chevy in there.
he would do anything to make $1. I will say that. And then here's another '68 Hearst Olds. I don't know much about the history of the car. I know it's one of 505.
Okay.
It is going to be restored, and I can tell you very much that when we push this car, there is basically no suspension left in it. It will literally drive. I mean, you can push it, and the suspension is just completely shot. But that's cool. I mean, it's a very, very rare car. 1 year
And
only.
1 year only.
In this color combo with this engine and such.
And one of the biggest things that some of the people around here didn't know, I know we saw a couple of comments because it was a fully restored, of course, 442s down there, that Oldsmobile like to do, just throw everybody off a little bit, is the red inner fender wells. And you can actually see here, no matter what the color combo of the car was, everybody went with black or Mopar colored, the whole engine made the same color.
Yep.
So you actually see the dust on here. We're not going to take anything off, but close up over there is the red inner fender well.
Yeah, and these were the first cars to get the red inner fenders.
That's correct, yep.
The '68 Hearst Olds. And then they did it as a option on higher option 442s and such.
Okay.
And then, no, Keith. This I was fortunate enough to be involved with. My friend Keith Knoll of Knoll Automotive, he actually worked on my personal 71 Challenger. And he's like, well, will you come pick it up? I got to show you something. And he was fortunate to go, and we went for a little drive. I thought it was like, Silence of the Lambs or, something. I wasn't
way
gonna come
back in the woods, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's where the best stuff's at, though.
But we made it to this barn, and he showed me. I have a 71 Challenger, not a real RT, but he showed me this Citron Yellow 71 Challenger, legitimate RT 340 car sitting in a barn. Like, there was a tractor. You see in my video, there's a tractor just to our right.
That's usually how we find them all. Yep.
And Keith was kind enough. He was able to acquire the car, and you didn't. You put it. It was in a few pieces.
And the groundhogs had really dug a hole under it too, so it was kind of buried in the dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was really sunk in the ground, huh?
Yeah,
But he
And
got
how
it.
long ago was this one?
just last year.
Yeah, within a year.
Okay.
But he got it running and driving with the stuff that was on it. Like, that's the header. I know you put exhaust on it, but
No, it's still open.
is it still open headers?
Oh, it's still open
I know,
headers.
Yep.
But-
so we changed all the fluids and it started.
And then I remember saying, he's like, hey, let me show you something. Sends me a video of it doing a burnout by his shop.
That's the best part.
4 weeks after we dug it out of the barn with him, I got it running and did a burnout.
Really?
Yeah.
And now this one is going to stay patina, or are you going to restore it all?
It just depends where life takes it. I'm not
Yep.
gonna like full blown restore it. I'd like to enjoy it before we
Of
blow
course.
it apart and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll just see how it goes.
Very cool.
Keith is famous for having the General Lou 68 Charger with all the mismatches. They were like,
Oh, yes.
mismatches. That's Keith's. That was
That's your
Keith's
car. Very neat, very neat.
My winter
Yeah.
beater.
Your winter beater.
31 1050 snow tires on it is what I had.
Yeah, there's famous videos of him drifting it like
In the snow.
snow drifts. Like
See, and
just
that's,
going
they're meant to
around.
be driven. They're meant to be driven.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I was
great
driving
car.
through in February during I just come on the backside of a snowstorm, and there it is in the parking lot. Boom, 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 boom.
The
I'm
heater
like,
worked great and good snow tires. That's all
Well, there's
you
nothing beats doing donuts in a muscle car.
need. Right.
I mean, you can have whatever you
I
want.
hope this one doesn't get that fate, though.
I'll take care of it. I won't destroy it.
But I mean, you
Well,
can't
thanks
get.
for sharing.
You bet.
Yeah. Thank you. And then this is really cool. 71 Ford Torino GT with the 351 Cleveland. It looks rougher than it is. It's actually a really clean car. It's been in the garage since 1982, and it's a really well optioned, just solid Ford product.
I see you got the Martyrs
I
Ford.
don't my garage would not allow it, unfortunately.
It's in really great shape for a Ford. Everything's all there, and it's got the hideaways and everything on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very well optioned.
And it's
not
a very clean
Cobra,
car.
But it's a 71 Ford Torino GT.
Very cool car.
It's really neat.
Yeah, very cool car. It needs, of course, with the Talladega cars back in for NASCAR and everything
Yep.
like that. So they're very hard to find, especially all complete.
Yeah, and then this looks like a standard Chevelle, 1965 Chevelle, but it's actually
one of my favorites.
this is probably one of the rarest cars in the entire property. It's 1965 Chevelle SS. It's a 65 Chevelle Malibu SS 396 Z16 option package.
And
This was found behind, I believe it was a shed or garage. You can see in the picture, but this is extremely
here.
rare. They only made 201, I believe, of these cars.
And for all the Chevelle guys that follow us, everybody who doesn't know, even a Chevelle guy, everybody thinks the big block started in '66.
Yep.
Well, this was where they actually first started. They shoehorned one in here
Yep.
for experiment before it came a fully option. You could get it on dealership floor in '66.
Yep. Exactly.
So, and these cars are always known for small blocks, great little cars. And the Z16 is, it's a famous car.
And it's
they have
funny
one.
because for the longest time, most of them were known because, like I said, they only made 201 of them. But over the last 4 or 5 years, I think we've had 3 different newly discovered Z16s
I've seen them here.
in
Yeah.
barn finds. We had one back there with the original engine, and this thing runs and drives. I think it was running.
I've seen they freshen up the interior, so they've done some work to keep
They
this as a
did, and
survivor.
they also oiled the patina.
Yeah.
But from what I believe I heard, they're going to keep it like
Patina?
this because it's solid.
That would be great
It's
to keep it
just, it's so neat.
And I don't know the whole history of them, but most of these in that color option, they only had a couple, but obviously this was the GM, the butter on yellow one.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And it's a great car again, and 4-speed car, Bucket's council car, really great.
And then here we are at the last car in the section, or first car, depending on how you're coming into it. This is probably my favorite car, not only because I documented it in the barn.
Are you sure?
And, I gave it the award, but it's just because it's a quadruple black Hemi Cuda 4-speed car. I mean, for rarity, it's a black car, black interior, black rubber bumpers, no stripe, no vinyl top. So it is, and it's fully optioned. Disc brakes, the nicer interior, 4-speed. I mean, it doesn't get better. And the really neat thing is here at MCACN 2022 is we have the recently uncovered King Kong 70 Hemi Cuda convertible.
We saw the unveiling of that one yesterday.
Yeah,
Just
that's
amazing.
that's
and
over
that
the
car
front.
is 1 of 5, right?
I know they're of black.
Black, right? Yeah.
Yeah, black Hemi Cuda convertible is it's 1 of 5.
Yes.
But the really neat thing is this car is the near twin to that car in a hardtop.
And a hardtop.
I
So
mean,
it
this is
doesn't
a
really,
hardtop.
it really doesn't get any better right now at this show.
No, like literal bookends to the show is you got the convertible there and the hardtop here as legitimate twin-ish cars for the barn finds and the main show.
I don't even think I got to ask you, but you're always one of the major guys that I always see, zooming around here, setup days, and I'm always trying to find you. Out of all the restored cars down there, the Crown winners, everything else like that, this is your favorite part of the show, isn't it? It's pretty close.
It's really, I love all muscle cars.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I love my barn find display, not even
Yeah.
because I just run it
Yeah.
and I select the cars for it, but because every single car in here is unique. Like, you've been to the show, you can see out here, there's 5 or 6 65 Shelby prototype cars out there. And
Right.
they're all exactly the same.
They're all the same.
Or you go to any other regular car show, and you'll see 6 or 7 red 69 Camaros, all SS's.
Right.
They all. So every single car in here is unique, all to its own world. It's the only one that exists like that in the country.
There is so many 1-of-1 cars at your show. Like
Yeah.
I said, again, 2022 MCACN, the best muscle car show in the country.
Bar
And
none.
Bar none. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for sharing
No
everything
problem.
with us.
I
And
appreciate
we will
Thanks for spending the
catch
time
up
with
with
me.
you. And you never know. Maybe we'll catch up on a road trip and go send cars in Barn. I'll invite
I
you.
got no life. I drive all over. Why not?
Well, you know, it's coming to a great time of the year where I go digging barns with my crew.
Yeah.
So you can come on up. You know, we'll do like January, February when it's about 20, 30 below out.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hot chocolate works wonders.
I'm like a polar bear. I just put on layers.
That's why. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching and catch up with us at MCACN 2022. Thank you.
Thank you.